Dear friends, let's begin our meeting today. I'm glad to see you all here in our club. My name is Alina Tsigankova. I'm president of Toastbusters Club, and I really hope that we all will have good evening tonight. Okay. We are part of big, huge community, Toastmasters International. And if you somewhere heard about this, so you know that in almost in each country they have Toastmasters Club, and we are part of them. So it is almost 100 years, and all the time we have structured meetings, and the first part of our meetings is to welcome our newcomers. I see few new eyes here, and I want to invite you to our stage and tell few words about yourself. Please welcome who are first time today. Could you please do? Yes, fine. Come on. Yes. Okay. So, what is your name? Why are you here? And what do you expect from this evening? Please tell us.
Okay, dear friends, my name is Anastasia. I'm actually from French-speaking club, which is called the Autour du Mont, and this is also Moscow club. So I'm not the first time here in Toastmasters, but I'm for the first time in English-speaking club. And first I'm here to evaluate one speech of our dear participant. I just, for me, this is also important to improve my English because I'm working for an American company and we speak English all the time.
Woo, great, thank you. Who's next?
My name is Eugene. This is my first time in Toastmasters in Moscow. I do have some exposure to Toastmasters. I visited the club about 20 years ago. I still have fond memories about that. And I'm looking forward to learn how it works here and maybe become a friend or become a member.
Great, thank you.
My name is Andrei. I'm a member of the Optimum Format, it's Russian-speaking Toastmasters Club. And today it's the first time when I visit fellow Toastmasters Club. It's interesting to see how it's organized, how it works in other clubs. And also I'm going to share a thought of the day. This have a role.
Great.
Small but important.
Yes, about a bit later about us. Okay, thank you very much. And you, please welcome.
Hello, I'm Mark. I've been to Toastmasters here in Moscow once before, so I know a couple of the places. I've been away traveling, so today I'm going to spectate and listen, but I plan to join. Become a member of the club.
So let's begin our main part. If you know, we have three parts of the evening. First part, it is prepared speeches, where our members will share a few thoughts with you. The second part, then we will have a break. The second part will be a table topic session where all of you can take part and share your thoughts about the topic of the day. And the last part, and the most important part, it will be feedback session where we found a lot of information for how to improve our skills, our public speaking skills, our leadership skills, and how to be a friend here. So thank you very much, and let's start. And I want to invite to the stage our beautiful Toastmaster of the evening, Polina.
So, hello dear Toastmasters, my name is Polina. I'm very happy to see you all today. Today is very beautiful. I hope it will be a positive evening. I'm very happy to be the Toastmaster of the day. It's my very first time and I'm happy to do that. That's not a secret for you that our club is related to making public speeches and presentations in English. But let's imagine for one evening that we are having a book club here. No, we are not actually going to discuss any books today. I hope we'll do it later sometimes. But let's discuss why it is important to read. So, do you like reading?
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. Who likes reading? I think all of you like reading. That's good. Do you read a lot?
No, sometimes.
Okay, I see. So let's discuss why it's important to read a lot. That's the topic of today's meeting. So imagine you read one book a month. That means that you read 12 books a year. In 5 years, you can read 1,000 books and more than, 100 books. Yeah, 100 books in 5 years. And during your whole life, you can read more than 1,000 books. Isn't it impressive? More than 1,000 books in life. Yeah, I think so. It's very impressive. I reveal you a secret. It's enough to read only 30-50 pages a day, no more than an hour a day to come to such a result. You can read in transport, you can read before bedtime, you can read during a break at work, you can read on vacation. Just do it. So I think that November is a great month to read. It's dark outside the window, it's cold, and especially now it's a lockdown, so I think that there is nothing more beautiful than sitting at home and reading with a cup of coffee or tea or something like that. So, I have a good idea. Let's recommend each other good books, your favorite books, for this month. I have, that's like a book called Babaevsky. What do you think is inside? Maybe. No, it's not candies. I have pieces of paper here, and I have colorful pens. So, you guys please take one piece of paper, read your favorite book on it, what book you want to recommend to other members of the class, and then we will share. Let's start with you. You can take one. Okay, you can take a pen if you want. Okay. So can we just give to other members?
Yeah, I will go.
Okay, you can do it now. You can read your favorite book now and put it again into the box, or you can do it during a break. It's up to you. Okay. So now I want to invite to the stage our thought of the day, Andrei Ripatov. I have asked Andrei how many books does he usually read in a year. And he said that he reads near 5 books, right? Yeah, near 5 books in a year, and doing it in ways. Like he can read 3 books in a row, and then no books, like in a half of a year. Okay, Andrei, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to present the thought of today. And our topic today is reading one book each month, and this is a kind of promise we give ourselves on New Year Eve, which can make us better, more smart persons. But I'm not going to give you advice how to fulfill this promise, because it can be quite difficult. Instead of that, I'm going to show you the other side of this topic. I have a friend who is exceptionally smart and intelligent. He can support any conversation, but he loves to speak about these high matters like metaphysics and God and so on. And once we were speaking with him about something like that with a glass of whiskey, and he brought up a topic of ideas of Marcel Proust and his book In Search of Lost Time. So up to that moment, I was actually pretty comfortable, and I could follow the things he was speaking about. But this Marcel Proust it was a hit below my belt because I didn't know anything about Marcel Proust, and I feel embarrassed that I could not answer him. And I decided at that time, so I had to read this book. Has anyone read this In Lost of? Okay, great. So that's my conversation. So because it's a very famous book, and it's especially famous by two things. It's huge, 3,500 of pages, 7 volumes. So it's really a very big one. And the second, the style of this book is called the stream of the consciousness. So you can understand that reading 3,500 pages of someone's stream of the consciousness is not a simple task. However, I started reading, and I even enjoyed the first 3 books. They were pretty good, but the deeper I dived into that, the less I understood what was going on there, and in the end I stopped understanding it. Absolutely. And however, I finished this book. It took me like several months, so 7 books in several months. And when I met my friend, the first thing I told him just, let's speak about Proust immediately, because well, I still remember what the book is about, and he just asked why. Have you read it? Have you read the original book? I said yes, the whole book, 7 volumes. But why do you ask? You also read that? He said no, I didn't read that. It's impossible to read. I read only the critics, not the book itself. And at that time I hated him, really, just because he read one article in Wikipedia, and I read 3,500 of the pages. So, however, what this story, what lesson I learned from this story is that reading should not be a mechanical process of obtaining information and consuming information. Reading is one of the joys in our life, and if you decide to read 1 book each month, it's better if you choose wisely, and if you choose something which you really enjoy, because in this case you will get much more fun and much more benefit in the end. Thank you.
Thank you for such a long speech about this book. So now I want to introduce our timer, Елена. I've asked Елena what does she think. Isn't it important to read a lot? And she said yes, that it is incredibly important. Please, welcome.
Thank you. I definitely support the idea and the topic of Polina, because I think that it's really important to
Louder, please. Sorry? Louder.
Louder? Okay. So I said that for me it's quite important to read a lot, because it gives you more experience and thoughts and enrich your life. So today I'm a timer, and I will follow and trace speech speakers, and to follow the time allocation of every who is on the stage today. And I will do some marks, and at the end of the meeting I will give some short report with some probably recommendation, or everything was perfect. So just a small conclusion. Yeah. Thank you, and I wish everyone good luck in everyday practice. Yeah. Thank you. And
So let's talk about how the habit of reading can influence your life in a good way. I'll today highlight you several reasons. And the reason number 1 why reading is really important is, of course, what do you think? No ideas. It's, of course, pleasure. We all are reading for pleasure. Because reading of a good book can be compared to traveling to other countries and other cities, or even through time periods. And also, like an artist, drew pictures of inner and outer worlds. The talent of a writer usually makes us completely immerse ourselves into characters' lives and experience all the events and problems in their lives. It's nice to live under an impression of a good book, like under a drug, and always looking forward to touching the pages again to find out about all the twists of the plot and the fate of main characters. Moreover, it's pleasant to enjoy an incredibly beautiful literature language when it's easy to read and to understand information, while everything that the writer is talking about can be imagined in all colors and completeness. I think that's very beautiful. Let's turn to our counter. Today it's Tatiana Ladышeva. I asked Tatiana if it was possible to enter a book. What book would you like to visit? Tatiana, where are you?
Here.
So, and Tatiana said that she would love to enter Razor's Plate, yeah, by William Somerset Maugham. Am I correct in pronunciation? Okay.
Almost.
Okay. She wants just to take that bottle of Zubrovka from Sophie and see if the author was still able to maintain an excellent plot of the story. I haven't read this book, but thank you for your recommendation. I think I'm going to read it soon. Welcome on the stage.
William is my favorite author for many years. So if you had a chance, please read it. Dear Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, guests, you probably know that in some books, filler words are suited very well. But when we are talking about live conversation, especially speaking up at the stage, most of the time, filler words are needless. My name is Tatiana, and my role is a counter tonight. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to listen to carefully all of you tonight and make a short list, and towards the end of the meeting, I will provide you the report of how you use unnecessary words and sounds. I'm not very strict, so relax and enjoy yourself and enjoy the meeting. Thank you. Elena?
Thank you. So let's move on. What do you think reason number 2 is? Reason number 2 is knowledge. Yeah, as you know, books are an endless source of knowledge on any topic. It's not necessarily an encyclopedia or something significant. It's not necessarily a scientific literature. There are a lot of genres of books, and in all of them you can find something really interesting and useful for yourselves. While reading books, we learn from other people's mistakes, other people's experience, and other people's commitment. Books helps us. Book helps us to become more successful, gain experience, and make the right decisions in our personal lives. So our quiz master for today is Samira. I asked Samira what was the last book that she read that gave her any useful knowledge. And she said that currently she's reading the book The Neurotic Personality of Our Time, written by Karen Corney. Am I correct in pronunciation? No? Okay. And the author describes the nature of neuroticism and normals. Please welcome Samira.
Dear fellow Toastmasters and guests, my name is Samira, and today I've taken the role of quizmaster, and as a quizmaster I will be carefully listening to all your speeches, prepared and revised, and pay attention to all the details of the speeches, and I encourage you to do the same, because at the end of the meeting I will ask you questions, and those who are the most attentive will receive very delicious sweet desserts.
Thank you. Now I want to invite to the stage our grammarian for today. It's Daniil Yolov.
I am emergency grammarian today, that's why I'm not in the agenda. I will present a word of the day, and it will be a verb digest. Yes, it has several meanings. For example, during the break, you can digest food, just break it down in your mouth, and then it will be digested in your body, go to blood or whatever. Also, you can digest a book, meaning you will understand the main thought. For example, it's the opposite example. In the thought of the day, Andrei's friend struggled to digest Marcel Proust. Hopefully you have better examples of digesting something. I will count how many times you use this word. Also, I am a grammarian, meaning I will take notes when you mispronounce some words or your grammar is not very correct. On the other side, I will also make notes when you use some beautiful language. For example, I already noted how casually Andrei used 3,500 instead of telling 3,500 books, like many others do. So it's a very nice item. Thank you very much.
So let's move on. And the reason numbers read, why reading is important, is development. Reading directly affects our intellectual ability. Books make you think and analyze information, make conclusions, and therefore, all of this preserves clearness of mind. A person who reads a lot is better at absorbing information. When the reader follows the plot and the storyline of the book, it leads to constant simulation of memory and therefore to its improvement. So let's improve our memory. Let's keep our brains in clearness by reading. I want to share this stage with our first speech, who is prepared by Martina. I've asked Martina, is it good that schools are forced and schools and universities are forced to read a lot? And he said that he would encourage students to read that they are passionate about. I think that's absolutely true. It's really important to read what you want. So welcome, please, on the stage.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, dear fellow Toastmasters. So since tonight is the read books evening, I decided to share with you my review about one book that I read lately, and which is probably you're very familiar with it, is the 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. And I chose this book mainly because it's kind of changed my life a bit, at least work-wise, because I changed some habits that I had before. And the main one that I had was about being busy when it's not really the need of the case of being busy. The main concept of this book is about the main concept of this book is about absolute earning versus relative earning, right? So you may say there is one person that earns $155,000 and another person that earns $30,000. Who is richer? You may say obviously the $150,000. But if you look at the actual hours, the actual net hours, if the one is earning 150,000 a month, but is working 80 hours or 80 hours a week, it comes down to 36 hours, $36 a month, so which is much less than the other person who is working 10 hours. So just to keep it simple, it's about productivity. So this book is really much related to productivity and to free your time. Yeah, so to free time that we automatized all the activities that we can do as much as possible, and we'll go through this, and do things important for us, like what you're passionate about. It can be your family, can be your sport, can be yoga, can be anything, right? So, and it's actually something that I'm doing now. I'm trying to be honest with you, and I'm in the process. It's something that may take some time, but it's possible, theoretically, right? And so the next question would be, all right, okay, so yeah, you free your time, easy to say, right? We are so busy, like with tasks, with whatever, every day, work and other stuff to do. What he says is that you need to create a product based on your passions, right? What is your passion? It can be philosophy, it can be reading books, it can be anything, yoga. Bear in mind that this is a book that was written in 2008, but I think that some of these ideas, they're still applicable nowadays. So at the time when he was writing this book, everyone was going to the office, there was no pandemic, so the remote work was absolutely not the case, right? So what he says is that the main idea is that you create a product that is gonna run, you're gonna invest, obviously, sometimes at the beginning, 1, 2 years, 3 years, depending on your knowledge, but then it's gonna run, it's gonna produce passive income for you, and it's gonna work for you. So, for instance, if you're passionate about philosophy, you can create a channel, YouTube channel. Let's say there's a success, and through ad revenues, affiliate marketing, other products, it can actually bring you an income that will be pretty much automatized. That's amazing. That would be amazing. But now the next question is, okay, perfect. All right, but what about my 9-to-5 job? Who's gonna do that? And on top, I'm gonna do this, right? He says 3 things actually. We can go to the next, sorry. You can do 2 main things, outsourcing and elimination. Yeah. He basically say the 9-to-5 work that we do every day, it basically can be done in 2 hours. And I believe that, because actually I've been testing lately. It's like we are so busy in meetings, useless meetings that takes 1 hour, 2 hours. They can be really summarized in 5 minutes, just quick chat or just a summary. Just we are just buried in under meetings or useless requests or things that are not critical. Everything now is critical, is urgent. You get it's urgent. But what we need to bear in mind, what he says, is our own agenda, not someone else's agenda, right? So that's why his main point is about elimination. You can go to the next. It's about elimination, it's about the 80-20 principle. He says that with the 20% of your effort, you can achieve 80% of your results. He makes a very good example, actually, among many. He was a salesperson He was trying to sell to CEO some products. He was calling from from 8 to 5 during the working hours. But he couldn't get through to the person because he was always stuck. He was always filtered by secretaries, assistants, so he couldn't sell anything. So basically what he did, instead of calling 8 to 5, he called 5 to 7, when all secretary assistants were away. He basically managed to do much more than he would have done, he was doing during the 8 to 5 working hours. This is just an example. But it's just to stimulate ourselves to think what really is producing the results, what is really driving the, anything in our lives. This can be applied to work, to personal life, to anything, The other is outsourcing, which was in the previous slide. Outsourcing, just outsource everything what you can and focus on outsource everything what you can that is operational, right? Cleaning, shopping, or everything that can be. Even he was one of the first one was using personal assistants, virtual assistants. So he was hiring someone in China or in India to answer his emails for him, to just to be on emails on something that is. He was just giving very detailed work instruction, do this, and this, and that in this case, or do this in the other case. He was saving so much time, which that time he was investing, he was in the product that he wanted, that he then created, and he basically went traveling around the world. And this product was running because basically what he could do, he could actually work anywhere, from anywhere, work very little, I would say, at least based on what he said, like 4 or 5 hours a week. So yeah, this is outsourcing. Yeah, we can go to the next. Now, he has very good points now. So the next question is like, okay, what can I do, right? What could be my product? And he listed very good questions on how, to answer this question. What can you offer? What are you passionate about? What are you good at? What is something that you accomplished in the past and you think you can accomplish again, right? Use the same, just something that is something that you perhaps you can share or experience with others. I have different passions, and try now to understand what I should focus on. Like several things. I like cooking. I like yoga. I like running. I like sports. I like different things. Maybe I should focus on everything, or maybe on just one. I don't know. But it's the thing is in this world everything is being created. Let's say. So basically, whatever new is just a combination of whatever is being created, and there's gonna be something new. But it's not new. It's just the combination of it. So now, my takeaways really are what I'm doing in my life, what I'm applying in my life is like, I put my agenda first, right? I'm not expecting from someone else's agenda. I'm putting my agenda first. So basically the first thing I do in the morning, and I don't look at my emails. I wait for my emails. I read my emails at 10 a.m. Emails can wait. I do my researches now. I still don't know I have no idea what I'm gonna do. I wanna do it. Maybe I'm not gonna succeed, but I'm gonna try. And I work on elimination. Like I'm, check my mails 2-4 times a day maximum. To be honest with you, nothing happens. No one. I don't work in a hospital. No one is dying. No one is, emergency. I don't work I do an office type of work, remote work actually. Most of the time. So, and it's good that you set up some limits in the sense that, you do a task to be proactive and finish in 20-30 minutes, because that's the main concept. If you have granted 8 hours to work on something, you're gonna spend 8 hours on something. If you give yourself 20-30 minutes, you're gonna finish in 20-30 minutes. Today in the morning they said, okay, you're gonna give us, yesterday evening, you're gonna give a speech. I said, okay, I'll take it. And I'll try to outsource anything possible. And yeah, that's basically what I want to share about books, and that's my experience. And I hope I shared something that for you, and I recommend this book. You may like it or not like it, but I took away something interesting. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, reason number 4 why reading is important is improving our communication skills. A well-read person is not only literate, but also he has very good communication skills, which allows him to express his thoughts beautifully and correctly and convey them to the audience. I think this skill is important for me and for you, for all members of the club, and that's all we are striving for here, improving our communication skills. So I want to introduce our second speaker. It's Colin. He's in Zoom. And by the way, our guests from online, can they hear me now?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You can write your favorite book on a chat in Zoom. That will be okay. So I've asked Cole what literate character would he like to talk to if it was important. And he said that it would be a Superman from a comic book. That's cool, I think. So the stage is yours, Cole. Good luck.
Good evening, all Toastmasters and guests. So, would you like to know why I started my Toastmasters career? It was quite a long time ago. It was my first year in college. I was 18 years old. We were in economics class. The economics professor divided the teams into groups of 4. He gave us a theme which we were able to digest, and we went off to the library to prepare our presentation and research. The first part of the process went easily, very smoothly. We prepared our document and were ready to present. The difficult part, of course, was deciding who would present our speech. So we had an idea. We decided to have a game of almost Russian roulette. This meant we found an empty pencil case, put it on the table, and found 4 matchsticks, made one smaller than the other, and put them into the pencil case. Then we had to draw. Whoever got the short matchstick would make a speech. So I closed my eyes, I reached out and put my faith into the matchstick gods. I pulled out a matchstick. I'm sure you know who got the short matchstick. It was me. My other 3 classmates pushed me forward, cajoled me. Go on, Colin. You can do it. We believe in you. Blah, 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 blah. I had to make the presentation. The fateful day arrived. The economics teacher called out her team's name. I made a 6-meter walk to the podium at the top of the class. All eyes were staring at me. I'm sure I could also hear my 3 classmates breathe a huge sigh of relief. They were very thankful to me for taking on the role. I took my A4 page in my hands. I gripped it tightly. You could see my knuckles turning white, whiter than a ghost at Halloween, and I started to squeak. Speak, of course. No, I'm sure I was actually squeaking. I continued on. My voice was quavering. I was going through my 2-page speech, word for word. I could feel the heat in my face rising, redness in my face becoming the temperature of the Sahara Desert. I plowed forward, stumbling over word by word, but I reached the Holy Grail, the last word on the second page of my trusty A4 sheet, which I'd hid behind for the preceding 5 minutes. I stumbled off the podium, shuffled back to my chair, and slumped into my seat. I had done it. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this was probably the main trigger moment for my desire to improve my presentation and speaking skills, although a long time ago. Since then, I have made various work presentations, including 2 social presentations when I was the best man at 2 weddings, all with varying degrees of success. But I pushed on, and I'm trying to improve day by day. So, a little piece of advice for you. Do never forget the letters F, E, A, or. Fear. You always have a choice. Forget everything and run, F-E-A, or face everything and rise. Which ones will you choose? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cole. I think that both speeches today were very impressive, very beautiful. But unfortunately, the time for prepared speeches is over now. And now I want to announce a break. Yeah, please don't forget to donate for our club, because all of us are volunteers here. And also, please don't forget about our magic box. Put your favorite book in here. Okay.
How many minutes do we have?
We have 5 minutes.
Yes. Oh, we are on time. So we're having a break, 5 minutes break, and please enjoy the snacks and water and conversation with Toastmasters.
have your students on your homework. That's really very hard. So concentration is important, and by concentration, things are solving more correctly and faster. So let's read to improve our concentration. So let's turn to table topic session, and the master of the topic is Olga Gvozdeva. I've asked Olga, has it ever happened to her that she concentrated so much on reading a book that she passed metro station or something like that? Because as for me, it happens to me for many times. That's true. And she said that one evening she was reading and suddenly noticed the sunrise. I think that's very funny. This book, I suppose, was very interesting. So, welcome, please, Olga.
Dear Toastmasters, today we discuss books. Reading is not just about absorbing information or finding ready-made answers. Reading is your thought in action. And today, during our table topic session, I encourage you to reflect on some quotes from the famous books. Then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to share with us your opinion here on this very stage. Our timer will help you to stay within the time limit, so she will use the color cards. Please don't forget to introduce yourself. This is crucial for choosing the best table topic speaker by the end of the session, because we will choose the winner by voting. So now we need our first volunteer. Someone, great.
Hi, please introduce yourself. Hello, dear Toastmasters. My name is Olga, and I will be the first. This is very challenging, and
Yes.
I like this competitive spirit.
That's perfect.
So let's go.
So please choose the number from 3 to 12, and you will get your quote.
Let it be 9.
Let it be 9. Well, Jean-Paul Sartre, very wise quote. If you're lonely when you are alone, you are in bad company. If you're lonely when you are alone, you are probably in bad company. Please share your thoughts.
So Jean-Paul Sartre was a very, very wise man, as we all know, and saying that resonates in my soul a lot. I would like to give you an example of my sister, who is traveling all the time. Often she travels alone, and I ask her many times, what do you do when you travel alone? Like, you don't have someone by your side to share your impressions of of the sightseeings of different places, of something which is going on around you. And she said, that's a great time for me to be with myself, to reflect, and to digest what's happening in the world. So I actually took advice from her and started to not to travel, but to visit some places alone. And I think that's a great time, and I think this is really an investment into yourself. When you are alone, you can do a lot of useful things. You can think about what happened in your life. It helps you to think clearly and to understand what you want in life. What are your goals? And after that time, you can better organize your life. So I think that it's one of the things which I thought when I read this quote from this philosopher, and I really encourage you to spend the time with yourself more.
Well, we need someone else to participate, please.
The newcomers.
Some from the newcomers
Okay,
here.
let's try.
Guys, we have a lot of time, and I think everyone will participate.
Okay. Okay, hello, dear guys. My name is Elena Ustinova. I'm here for the first time, and I didn't have much practice in English for many years, but maybe 15 years ago I was working abroad in an international company, and one of my diplomas is a diploma of interpreter in business sphere. So 2 days ago I had an invitation to be a speaker on an international oil conference and speak in English, and I was shocked because I didn't have much practice in speaking, and more than this in English speaking. So I remember about Yuri Maisky, with whom I was communicating several years ago, and he gave me the contacts of Toastmaster Club, and I came here. So I hope that I will, with your help, manage somehow to feel more уверенной.
Confident, right?
Confident,
so
yeah.
You have to choose the number, so
Okay,
you will get
one.
your quote.
One.
No, you don't have one. From 3 to 12. So
Okay,
eight.
okay. 10.
10. Okay,
10,
number
okay.
10. Great. Everything will turn out right. The world is built on that. Everything will turn out right. The world is built on that.
Yes, Mikhail Bulgakov, he knew what to say, and so I absolutely agree with him, because sometimes when we find ourselves in some difficult situations, we can be absorbed by these emotions. Yes, we sometimes can think that the world is broken, everything is ruined, and there is no way out of this. But one of my sphere of my work is psychology. So I know how to get out of this, and I absolutely agree that all that happens right now, it's a even if it's right now we think that it's really something that is ruining our world, but it will turn out in something more pleasant. We will got a new experience, at least, and this experience will make us more strong, more ready for different other challenges. Yeah, so I absolutely agree with Mikhail.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Well, we need more participants. Great.
Hi there, I'm Ivan. I'm nearby here. I'm a computer programmer, and I don't know what to say. Like,
Great. Choose your number from
Okay.
3 to 12.
let's do 3.
Well, very nice quote from Phil Knight, the founder of Nike. The way from a burnout is probably to work harder. The way from a burnout is probably to work harder.
That's a great quote, even especially for me, because I left my company a couple months ago, and now I'm searching for another job. I actually think I burned out. So
You know
that's
what to do.
enough. He knew what happened, what would happen to him. The way from burnout is probably to work harder. I don't know, maybe I don't agree with him because I did work harder and I did burn out with something that brought me there. So that's my thought.
Okay. Guys, I have 20 minutes. If you did anything wrong.
Hello. Hello, fellow Toastmasters, it's Mark. I picked 5.
Great. Well, from Clayton Christensen, the destination is not as important as the journey. The destination is not as important as the journey.
That's an interesting quote. Because I think as we all go through our working journeys or our personal journeys, we're always rushing from A to B, trying to get somewhere, trying to get to our final destination, whether it's that meeting, whether that's changing job in the back. So I think it's very important that sometimes we pause a little bit and actually look at how we're getting from A to B, how we're interacting with people, and actually the engagements between those 2 points from whatever we're trying to do. And I think there's definitely a very important message around the journey and living our life and living what we do from day to day and capturing that engagement with our fellow Toastmasters, our colleagues, our family. So I think that's very, very important. So I would agree that it is important around the journey from getting from one place to another wholeheartedly. So that's my view on that. That's it. Thank you.
Hi there. My name is Lisa, and I work in sales, and I'm gonna pick number 7.
Number 7. Sergei Gablat. The only honest road is the path of mistakes, disappointments, and hopes. The only honest road is the path of mistakes, disappointments, and hopes.
Okay, cool. To begin with, I think that's pretty much the only road, because there is no human who wouldn't go through mistakes, disappointments, and hope. So I bet that that's someone that everyone experiences at some point in their lives. I think it refers not only to life, but also to work. Maybe I work too much, that's why I thought about my work like right away. I think that once you stumble upon something that makes you burn out or makes you want to change your job, that's where you should admit to yourself whether it's something you want to do or not. And it's okay if you make mistakes or get disappointed. It's okay if you don't want to do that anymore. It's okay if you want to change your path, because in my opinion, like the only honest way is to do whatever you feel like doing at the moment. A lot of people would say that, yeah, you have to think about the future and so on, but like tomorrow there might be a brick falling on your head and there won't be any tomorrow. So I think if at this point of life you feel like that you need to change, well, change it. And if in a week you feel like you're disappointed from your change, okay, well, change it again, because our life should be full of mistakes and hope that something better will be down the road. And what else? Finally, to conclude, thank you. I don't know what these cards mean, so thank you anyway. Okay. Yeah, just final thought is like we make decisions based on our knowledge in the moment. So I would say that every decision we make is the best decision because it's based on what we already know and we want best for ourselves. So the best we can do. Okay, that's it. Oh, yes.
Okay, so please introduce yourself. My name is Olga. Olga, great. Yes. Hi everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Great. Yes. Yes. I choose number is 4. What do you have here? Olga. 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 Her name is Olga. Okay, Jordan Peterson today with the quote: compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is to go again, right? It's again? Yes. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday. When you say turn on, yes? Louder. Louder, yeah. Yes, okay, nice, great, sure. I'm sorry, I'm nervous. It's okay. Yes, great, okay, now I remember myself 1 year ago or 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and I started to learn English with my teacher, is Lisa. Here. She's here. Yes, and today I have more confident. Yes, thank you, confident. When I speak in English, and I agree with this thesis, and I like this name of the book, 12 Rules for Your Life, and a great speaker, Jordan Peterson. I follow him in YouTube for Jordan Peterson. Yes, awesome, great. Yes, is a psychology person. Yes, and we have we have to get progressive in our life, and it's get okay. Sure. Okay. Thank you for your watching. Thank you for your attention. And I'm nervous. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so we have some. We can ask someone from Zoom to participate. If anyone want to participate, it could be great. Maybe Marina or who? Oh, it's not Marina. Definitely not. Hello.
I will try. I will try.
Great, great. Please choose the number from. Please introduce yourself first, and then choose the number from 3 to 12.
My name is Colm. I'm living in Dublin at the moment. And what numbers are available? If 8 is available, I'll have 8.
Oh, 8 is fine, I think. Let's see what we have there. Okay. Oh, very wise quote from Joseph Brodsky. The longer you stay intellectually uncomfortable, the better it is for you. How is that?
Thank you very much, Olga. Such a simple question for a Wednesday evening. I think listening to you all tonight, I'm already intellectually uncomfortable. Listening to the speeches, Martino, listening to the talk of Paulina, the Toastmaster of the day. I definitely believe in intellectually being uncomfortable every day, pushing yourself, trying to increase the efficiency and the productivity of others around you, trying to lift them up too by their shoe laces. So I try to read myself. I won't lie. I definitely do not read a book a month, but I always try to keep my general knowledge up to date. So I definitely agree with the statement of the very clever Joseph Brodsky, Russian poet I see, typed at the bottom, that the longer I do stay personally, intellectually uncomfortable, the longer I will live and the happier I will be. Thank you.
Well, great. It's the last one. The last one. Okay.
I'm Eugene, and I'll go with number 10.
Number 10.
11.
We have it. Yeah. So it's 11, right? You said 11.
Okay.
Okay. Very depressive guy. Fyodor Dostoevsky. To go wrong in your own way is better than to go right in someone else's. To go wrong in your own way is better than to go right in someone else's.
Well, Toastmasters. There's one thing I want to discuss is connected to this quote is Instagram. I rode in metro here, and pretty much everybody was swiping. Pictures, and I know what they're thinking. They compare themselves to someone else in different situation. So what happens to us when we do that? We lose ourselves, we lose our way. We want something that other people have. We don't really want what we want. We connect ourselves to a different life and we forget about ourselves in a way. And then what happens? We discover that what they have is not what we are, and we become unhappy. So there is a thing that called of fear of missing out. It's that thing that makes a lot of people unhappy. And Dostoevsky, he was probably a depressive guy, but he was predicting that we will have Instagram, I guess. And he was cautioning us to pay attention to ourselves first. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your...
How can you propose?
Right. For sure. As you remember, everyone who participated introduced themselves, therefore you know their names, so you can vote by using QR code on the list on the sheet of paper that you have. Okay? So
Right
here.
It's called the
Yeah, right here. Yes. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think that this game was really challenging. It was hard, as for me, I think it was. But it was interesting, really. I was sitting right here on my chair and just thinking about all the theses, was I agree or was I disagree with them. Thank you very much for such a good decision. Let's move on. And let's discuss one more reason why reading is important. And the reason number 6 is increasing in our vocabulary. So, with regular reading, a person's speech in any case will become richer due to different beautiful turns and clever expressions of literature, especially classical literature. As for me, I like reading classical literature a lot, and I like authors like Tolstoy and Dostoevsky because of their literature language, which really rich and helps me to develop my vocabulary, to increase my vocabulary. So let's turn to our next topic of the meeting. It's evaluation. It's an evaluation part. I want to introduce our general evaluator. It's Alla Aganova, or Aganova? Aganova. Okay, I'm sorry. I asked her which literature does she like to read more, classical or modern, and she said that her favorite genre of literature is non-fiction literature. So please welcome to the stage.
Dear friends, as to the reasons for reading happily mentioned by our Toastmaster, I would like to add one more. Sometimes literature helps us to feel again the old emotions. And in this connection, I would like you to take the book, which I'm not sure most of you will accept this recommendation. It is the book written by our famous journalist Victor Lashak. Maybe you know him as a leading author of our magazine Aganyok. And his last book was Naive Years, Naivные годы. You are too young, most of you, too young to estimate this book completely. But it is devoted to the period when many people were standing on Pushkin Square and were reading only one newspaper. It was Moscow News. It was the period of the beginning perestroika, the period which now is sometimes described in a negative way. So my advice is, if you like history books, and it's already history, the second half of the ages, try to understand it deeper, and Lashak will help you. So my advice, if you would like to understand our history, to understand perestroika as the period of hopes and dreams and new emotions, please take this book. So that's all for my piece of advice. And now let's pass to our evaluation. Let me introduce the first personal evaluator, Olga Latanova, who will evaluate the first project by Martina.
Thank you very much for introducing. And so this is my first evaluation project, and I'm completing level 1 with this project. So, so first of all, I would like to thank Martino for the great topic that he brought today to the club. And I would like to say that the topic really resonates. I would say, I would try to guess that it resonates with almost all of them, or all of us, because we are all working and very busy with different stuff. And I think that everyone would say that I don't know how to manage things I'm doing, how not to lose time, how to focus on the most important stuff. So thank you for bringing this great topic. So I would like to say that Martino gave me a very relaxed impression when he was on the stage. So he was really interested, and I felt the passion you have for the topic. So I think it's really something you really you need to work on. You want to work on, and that's great, because I think you want to improve. So I think the audience could feel it from the way he was talking. I think so. Let me just comment on a couple of things that that I observed in terms of structure of your speech. You started to talk about the book itself, so you mentioned it. I felt sort of missing something. Why you're going to tell us about the book today? So I think you touched upon these things later during your speech, because you said you gave a lot of examples of how you implement some of the advices, this 80-20 principle, reading emails several times a day, not rushing to read it and distract yourself from what you're doing. So that was good. I missed at the beginning that you explained why you brought this topic and why it is important for you. So maybe next time you think about the start and also the conclusion. I know that you were out of time, and you didn't have, most probably you didn't have time for the conclusion, but I think the conclusion is really important. Maybe some message for the audience, what you would like us to remember. And couple of another things that the slides, I think they a little bit distracted you from what you were talking about. Maybe next time you need to use the switcher to okay. So maybe organize it in a better way. But in general, I think that that was a great topic, and everyone was interested. And so thank you very much, and I am encouraged to read this book as well.
Thank you, Olga. Thank you, Martina. For me, your speech was a sort of guidebook for if you are starting your business. Now, our next evaluator is Anastasia Gribenyuk. Please.
Good evening, everyone. Dear Colm, I know that you are online, so hello from Moscow, hello to Dublin, I hope. First of all, thank you very much for your speech. It was very interesting, and I liked your speech very much. I remind for all of us that Colm is on the level number 3, and the aim of his speech was to address storytelling technique and descriptive skills to make speech relatable and interesting. First of all, I would like to tell that it's not very easy for me to evaluate your speech of a native speaker, and I will try not to do it in French because I've done it in French many times, and in English I do it for the first time, so I will be brief. I think that your speech was, first of all, very clear, and it has a very good structure. So, first of all, you told us the general information, then you gave us some examples, and you explained why it was important, and then you gave us some advices, and as we can call a call to action. And I was impressed by your vocal variety and your intonations, so I guess that it's for every Toastmaster is a good achievement. And you kept eye contact with the audience, which is not very easy to do when you are online and not in person. You also used your body language, and you spoke a little bit with your hands, and it was not spontaneous. I guess it was very logical when you just were showing some variety of your body language also. And you felt very comfortable with the audience, so I would like also to mention that. I think that everybody was very interested in the topic of your speech, and the speech in general was very successful. So I hope that the audience was interested, everyone was attentive, and also, thank you very much for your advices which were given during your speech. I also would like to tell some points how you can improve your speech. First of all, I would advise you to change the background in Zoom for more neutral, because I saw that the paper that you showed twice it disappeared. So because of the background, I guess. And one more point, but we can't change it right now, obvious, because you are online, you are in Dublin. I guess that as a great speaker, it will be more interesting to see you in person here on this stage. So maybe next time you will come to Moscow and we'll see your great speech here. And thank you once again very much, and congratulations. You did everything very well, and good luck. Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank you both, the evaluator and the speaker, and even more the evaluator. She said that it was her first attempt to evaluate in English, so you were a great success. Thank you so much, because you mentioned all necessary items for the evaluator. So go ahead, please. Now, I would like to invite here our accountant.
Thank you, Ala. Dear friends, as I have mentioned earlier, you did very good job today, and I will be brief. I don't have much to say. Paulina, very good job. You had a few unnecessary sounds, no filler words. Andrei, good job. Samira, perfect. Daniel, great job. Martin, okay, let's talk about prepared speeches now. Martina, no filler words, but quite a few filler sounds. But since it was like your urgent speech, it's okay. Calm, I didn't catch any. If you had any, I didn't catch them. Okay, now let's talk about table topics. I only mentioned the winner, the bad one and the good one from the end and from the beginning. Okay, the person who used most of filler words is Yelena, and the list is Mark and Colin, list of words. And for personal evaluators, I'm using them too, but that's a bad habit. Olga, I have counted 3, and Anastasia, very good job, great evaluating, very good English, but when you speak, you are rushing the words, you're speaking too fast, and you insert a filler sound almost in front of each word. I think that's the reason you have them so much, because you are rushing the words. And that's probably it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tatiana. Maybe you don't know that Tatiana is a very experienced Toastmaster, and of course it is, one can feel it through her evaluation. So thank you so much. Now please, Daniel Filonov as grammarian and grammar.
Thank you very much. I didn't have a lot to do. However, I need to mention some beautiful phrases I enjoyed today. Reading is a thought in action. Great finding, Olga. Fear of missing out by Eugene. Hit below the belt by Andrei. It's, I think, usually in English I hear something like sucker punch or gut punch. However, if you say hit below the belt, it's make your English colorful. Great. Then some mispronunciations. I heard company instead of company, oven instead of own, thesis instead of thesis, and relax instead of relax. And I have a feeling that it's better to call Brodsky Iosif instead of Joseph, but you can argue with me. It's English club, whatever. Also, more strong and more ready. I would suggest stronger, readier. Word of the day. Our champions are home from New Riga or Dublin or wherever you are. Home, I am with you. Thank you. And Olga. Olga, thank you. Also, I congratulate Olga with educating me. A couple of times I thought that during Olga's evaluation, she mispronounced a few words. Like she said, comment and distraction. I checked the dictionary, she was right. I was wrong. I always said comment and distraction. Thank you. And the last one, Polina, you said phrases all colors and completenesses. I understand nothing. It's either something wrong or something great. Please explain me after the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Now it's the turn of quiz master. Samira was there.
Prepared questions and speak presents for the most presenting prize. The first question is, who was the author of favorite Martinez book?
Tim Ferriss.
Yes. So the next question is, what currencies did Martina mention in his presentation?
Pesos and dollars.
Yes. German dollars and pesos. And what principles are helpful to save time?
Outsourcing.
And evaluation.
Elimination.
Outsourcing. Evaluation.
Elimination.
Okay. How many times does Martina check his emails?
4 times. A day, 2 from
4.
3
2, 4.
Yes, sorry.
Right. Olga.
I have one already.
Okay. Maybe. How old Colin was when he had to deliver his speech in front of the public?
17.
14. 18 or 17. Maybe I heard 18. Yes, 18. Say 18. Okay. What discipline Colin's professor taught at college?
Economics.
Yes. So, why did Colin decide to start his journey at Toastmasters?
To improve his public speaking.
What specialization the second speaker Lena had?
Interpreter in business.
Psychologist.
It was both.
I have.
Anna.
And what conference did she attend?
Oil. She will attend.
Oil, okay, yes. And another speaker, Lisa, mentioned her job. Where does she work?
Sales.
Yes. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Martina. And now it's the turn of our time, Elena McCormick.
Thank you guys for your attention, and firstly I would like to bring apology that I didn't explain the meaning of the cards yet, because I really forgotten to do that. So The green light, it means that 1 minute or 2 minutes late before your ending speech, yeah, your time is over. Yellow mark means 30 or 1 minute, 30 seconds or 1 minute. And red one, I think it's quite understandable. Yeah, obvious. So it means
Not
that the
everyone
time is
understands.
over. Yeah. So today, to conclude, yeah, whom I would like to highlight. It's firstly Martina. Yeah, it could be 3 minutes and 40 seconds over. Yeah. It's the biggest one. You're the leader, I guess. So perfect table topic session, Olga. Thank you very much. So you're a very nice manager. That's Anastasia Gribinyuk is also a little bit, out of the time. But everything went well. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, let me say a few words about the meeting in general. Well, first of all, I should mention that we started 5 minutes later, nothing particular, but still. And today we have had beautiful Toastmaster, as usual, of course. But nevertheless, maybe her beautiful performance was linked with her good preparation, maybe with your love for reading in general. I think it was it was really true when she determined the reasons for reading. So thank you so much for your performance. I also would like to mark the thought of the day. Andrei Lipatov. Yes, and for me it was important that he stressed the role of reading as one of the joys of life. Because sometimes, unfortunately, there are many people, and especially in young generation, who do not read at all. And maybe for them it's very important to underline the role of reading as one of the joys of life. I would like to say about the performance of our table topic master. I have one question to you. Where did you take these quotes?
Like where?
Where from?
Mostly from the books I read or from Google. It's like mixed.
From Google.
So, yeah. Most of them from Google.
That's all what I thought it. But choice of quotes was very interesting and pleasant for our audience. That's why the performances of the speakers were so good and sometimes even brilliant, in my opinion. So thank you so much. So all in all, I would like to say that we will agree, I suppose, that we have had a very interesting meeting. And now let me give the floor to our president.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. We are appreciated for your role. Thank you very much. And dear friends, continue through evaluation. I want you to ask to. It's not working. What is this?
It's an evaluation.
Evaluation of other meeting of today. It's just for members of Toastmasters. Just members. Okay. So, dear friends, we're almost in time, but we have that's okay. What I want to say, in few weeks we will have Toastmasters conference in Russia. It will be on 4th and 5th of December. So register and welcome to this huge our Russian conference. What else I want to say? We have next meeting after few weeks, so on 21st of November. Very welcome, and if you want to have a role on that
21st, 24th.
24th. And if you want to have a role, please ask me or ask me my contacts, and we will do it together. And what else? Please don't forget to donate. You will have this small number and our beautiful box. And what I want to say, it was a great meeting, and I really enjoyed this day, this evening, so thank you very much all. And before you go home and relax, let's make a big photo together. And yes, I have a lot of ribbons today. What is that? Ribbons. So we have winners of tabletop session. Who do you want? This is. We have 2 winners. This is our guest, Eugene and Lisa. Welcome. This ribbon for you, like present from our club. This is for you, and let's make picture together. Thank you very much. Thank you. What we have else? We have some birthdays. We had you guys who had birthdays since summer. So first will be Samira. Welcome to the stage. Our club wish you the best. So this is for you. And Tatiana Gladышeva.
Did you have birthday in summer?
I did.
Yes.
Thank you. And Polina. Welcome to the stage. So now let's make a big photo, and after we will have after party.
No photo.
After meeting we will have after party. So if you want, let's go together. Have a nice evening.
One more thing, Alina. What about speeches and roles for the next meeting?
I already said. Yes.
Repeat it, please.
Okay. For my beautiful secretary, Anna, she's also our area director, so she is a big woman. So please come to me and take the roles for the next meeting. We have a lot, and we are very welcome to the next meeting in 2 weeks. So let's come to make the photo.
Guys, can I please say a few words about what
Oh, yeah.
we with the cards? So I'll mix them a little bit, and you can take any card you want, and this